Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Here, easily here.
Okay, great. So in our last class, we discussed about the ecological chemistry of plant pollination. Do you have any question from that lecture? And do you have any comment? Plant pollination is one of the brightest example of co-evolution between plant and insects as well as other pollinators. Uh, we discussed the fundamentals as well as some examples of how pollinators and the flowering plants interact with each other and get both get benefited. And in the ecology, this type of relationship is very important and fundamental. Especially, you see the earth is covered with green plants and there are incredible diversities. And these diversities would not happen if there is no pollination because plants are sitting duck. They cannot move away. Even there is any danger or any, uh, you know, uh, enemy or herbivores are attacking them. But they have the sophisticated mechanism to communicate with their friends as well as their enemies. Some plants produce diverse array of toxins to stop or ward off the herbivores. And some plants use some visual or aromatic or even some other chemical cues to attract their friends like pollinators. Not only pollinators, there are some predators that help plant to protect themselves from other insect, predatory insect, for example. So predators for like ladybird beetle can help a plant to protect themselves from the attack of other insects. So ladybird beetle loves to eat the grub and small eggs of other insects. So these are the relationship. But on the other hand, the enemies, that is herbivores, also lab plant cues to find the food source. So some of the uh, plant metabolites or signaling compounds through the evolutionary process turn into the chiromone. Chiromone means gives benefit to the enemy, that is the receiver. So I told you before the cochleophyllin A. Cochleophyllin A produces by different plant host of Aphanomyces cochleoides, and it is an attractant of the juice pores, pathogenic juice pores of Aphanomyces cochleoides. Although chiromone is a flavonoid compound, it should have a defense mechanism against the microorganisms. But microorganisms somehow, over the years of evolutionary process, they developed the mechanism to tolerate that compound. Sometimes, the receptor uh, may, evolved in a way so it cannot bind to the target receptor. As a result, the compound is inactive. Rather, a new receptor evolved in a way so that it can sense the location of the host. In a case of COVID-19 virus, recently you have heard about the new strain of COVID-19 in UK and many other countries, even in our country. Uh, and scientists claim that it changed its you know uh, spike protein, the structure of spike protein. That means the sequences of or 3D structure of the protein and amino acid sequences in the protein. So there are some mutation happen, and spike protein is involved in binding to the SEE2 receptor in the human. So if spike and scientists predicted that due to these changes, the coronavirus SARS-CoV-2 can is, has become powerful in infecting the patient and spreading very fast. What does it mean? It means through the evolutionary process, virus always, needs the host, living host for their replication. They use the host transcription and translation machinery for making copies of their particle. In that case, host, for example, human host defense system is incredibly diverse. Some of the human are very strong in their immunity. Some are, very weak, those who have lots of comorbidity. In that case, virus has to, adapt to the host system, and that is face to immune system of the host, and over the process, they, mutate. And interestingly, when virus makes it copy in the host system. Sometimes, in case of RNA virus, COVID-19 is a single-stranded um, positive sense RNA virus. So, what it does inside the host cell, it uncover, inside the single-stranded RNA. RNA is copied and protein is also copied in other ways. And then during a copy of RNA and protein, sometimes, proofreading system, that is RNA repair and maintenance mechanism is, in case of virus, poor due to stress of defense stress of the host. So some mistakes taken place, and that result the mutation. So ecological uh, adaptation of virus pathogen to the human host in case of COVID-19 is an example how evolution is taking place so fast. But in case of other organisms like plant and insect, pollinator, evolutionary process that have taken place not in a year or a few years. It took a very long time. Any question from your side or any comment? Because most important is in this virtual class, if I only deliver the lecture and not seeing you in front of me, is really not feeling good. Rather, interaction is very important. This is why I always try to introduce new topics so that you can ask some question. So any question? If no question, then I shall show you some of the slides remaining on the uh, ecological chemistry of plant pollination. Ecological chemistry of pollination, already you know that uh, When insects, bats, and birds visit flowers to feed on or collect for future consumption, uh, the nectar and pollen, uh, they usually pollinate the flowers. That means bird or pollinators, their target is nectar and pollen. And during collecting the nectar and pollen, they pollinate the flowers in the process so that both partners clearly benefit from this mutualistic association. Plant pollination uh, is a mutualistic association between the pollinators and the plant. There are three biochemical factors involved, already I discussed. One is scent, the aroma, because some of the pollinators, they have very strong power of, you know, uh, sensing the aromatic compound. A color of flower, obviously color of flower tells lots of things. Target insect, I discussed with you in detail. Insect have some insect have a powerful color sense like honeybee, and they are specific for specific color. And color sometimes also indicate the honey guide. That is, honey is how much honey among what kind of honey is there. Nutritional value of nectar and pollen. Nutritional value of nectar is designed in a way so that the pollinator get the required nutrition. So nectar, a chemical composition of nectar in all flowers contains sugar, but not only sugar. There are some other amino acids and other uh, nutrient uh, elements that require for the better nutrition of the pollinator. So it is one kind of reward. And pollen, obviously, pollen, different plants pollen, if you chemically analyze, protein content is high, but there are some other nutritional content. uh, Depending on the plant, it varies. And these are all these chemical factors. They are largely been influenced by the environment. So always not say a same concentration of scent or a color, even slightly varies depending on the uh, um, environment, like soil, water supply, as well as the temperature, light, and others. So, lots of abiotic factors also influence these color, scent, and nutritional value of nectar and pollen. As a pollinating animal approaches a flowering plant, one of the signal it receives is an olfactory one from the flower scent. Animals live in a world of chemical communication, of pheromones, and they are undoubtedly able to detect terpenes and other volatiles of flower odor at some distance. Terpenoid compound, there are lots of terpenoid compound. This is one class of secondary metabolites, maybe the largest class of secondary metabolites. Uh, a large proportion of these compounds are volatile compounds, small molecules. As pollinator arrives near the plant, it also receives a visual signal. Here I'm telling you step-by-step process. First, as a pollinating animal approaches a flowering plant, one of the signal it receives, the first signal it receives is an olfactory one, that is the flower scent. but it is not all in all the cases. Some pollinators, they have very powerful sense of color but not the scent. Animal live in a world of chemical communication of pheromones. They are undoubtedly able to detect terpenes and other volatiles of flower odor at some distance. As pollinator arrives near the plant, it also receives a visual signal in the contrasting color of flower against the general green leafy background. As it alights on the flower, it may be drawn to the nectar by visual honey guides. In the flower, I showed you that visual honey guides guide the pollinator on the petal, derived from the differential distribution of pigments within the flower tissue. Finally, as it transfers the pollen from anther to stigma, it gains its reward, a nutritional one, based on the sugar and other constituents of nectar and pollen. This is very interesting. You can carefully look at the olfactory system. We have also olfactory powerful system in case of human. Olfactory system is a sensory system used for olfaction or the smell. Any smell we can sense. There are some, sophisticated mechanisms. Most mammals and reptiles have two distinct parts of olfactory system: a main olfactory system and an accessory olfactory system. The main olfactory system detects volatile airborne substances, and an accessory olfactory system senses fluid phase stimuli. Behavioral evidence indicates that most often the stimuli detected by the accessory olfactory system are pheromone. Here you can see, just a moment. Here you can see this is, the number one is olfactory bulb, the yellow olfactory bulb, and two you see the neural cells. They are called mitral cells in the olfactory bulb. And three, in our nose there are a soft bone, so it is actually here, yes, soft bone. And four, four you see nasal epithelium, and five, here you see five glomerulus, and six olfactory receptor cells. These cells are actually olfactory receptor cells, synaptic cells, and smell can sense and then process through this one, and finally goes to the brain, and then brain can tell what kind of smell is it. That means it is obviously multi-step processes, and multiple parts of the olfactory system are shown here. And you may ask a question: how long it takes? It takes even a very few seconds, even millisecond, you can get the sense. So you cannot understand how it is going, because relatively you feel that instantly when you smell a flower, you can get the smell if it is smelly. So, role of flower color preferences of pollinators. We shall discuss color preferences of pollinators, chemical basis of flower color, evolution of flower color, and honey guides. These are the very important roles of the flower color. That means all color are not preferred by all the pollinators. And color of a flower is basically chemical substance. They are different flavonoidal substances, uh, and their combinations. And flower color also evolved, not static, and they are also changed depending on the environmental pressure and other factors, and even depending on the uh, pollinators' choice. And honey guides in the petal, you have seen a certain pattern of a special a patch of color on the petals. Flower petals indicate the honey guides. So color is used in multi-purpose way. So the role of flower scents, there are lots of different types of scent, and different insect loves different scent. Even in human, you see in the perfume. People has a huge variation in choices of the perfume. Insect pheromones and flower scents. Insect pheromones and flower scents, because some of the insect, they even synthesize from the compounds they get from the flower. So, and some of the flower scents are similar to pheromonal. So these are the role of nectar and pollen. The nectar and pollen, they are actually nutritious, nutritional reward to the pollinator from the plant. Sugar of nectar, amino acids of nectar, lipids in nectar. That means some lipids can be present, fatty acid and others. Amino acid, nectar toxins. This is very interesting. Why nectar contain toxins? Nectar contain toxins to stop, undesirable pollinator. But that toxin is not toxic for the friend pollinator. Extra floral nectaries. Extra floral nectaries. There are some other, nectar source, even outside the flower. Nutritive value of the pollen. Nutritive value scientists studied a lot, and very complex mixture of different nutritional compounds present in the nectar, and uh, it is very mysterious that it is designed in a way so that the pollinator can get good nutrition from the nectar or pollen. So this is all about today. In next class, we shall discuss in detail about the chemistry of flower color, and especially flower colors and flower aromas. Uh, they are, industrially very important, because flower colors have been used since ancient time to make beautiful fabric, and they are natural dye. And natural dye, and still now in many countries, uh, dye, textile dye, people are getting from the natural sources. But now synthetic dyes are being used. But synthetic dye, people thought that as they are genobiotics, man-made, they are not good for the health. But natural one, obviously, good for the health. Another, the aroma incredibly diverse aromatic compounds like terpenoidal compounds and other compounds. So aroma, flower aroma, uh, or aromatic compound from the natural sources, they are the main source of the perfume industry. And some of the uh, coloring substances as well as colored substances in plant as well as aromatic substances. Some of them are edible and they are highly antioxidant and they have the medicinal principle. So discovery of these two groups of chemical substances, incredibly large group of chemical substances, uh, they are, you know, baking uh, many industries and human uses them in many ways. Uh, uh, this is all about for today, a brief lecture, and we shall discuss the chemistry uh, in detail in our next lecture. So now you can ask some question.
Sir, you have mentioned that the nectar toxin they will stop the undesirable pollinators. So, uh, as the herbivores or ruminants animal, those eating grass, so sometimes I have noticed that or find the cases of death due to toxic plant. So, in that cases, if the nectar toxin will uh, detrimental to them, or will they death any animal or herbivore?
So actually, the dose of nectar, the amount of nectar per flower is not too much to kill an insects, but even to give the full nutrition of an insect. This is why you see a honeybee travels hundreds and thousands of flowers to get enough nectar, and some for its own nutrition and some for the storage in their hive. So uh, actually, the pollinators, they are incredibly smart, and they usually, if they somehow experience the bad taste, toxic, nectar from one flower, it should not be lethal. Rather, discourage to visit similar flowers. Toxicity, is associated with the dose. Dose makes the poison. So small amount of, even very small amount of poison, if you take it, would not be a big problem. Body has the buffering and metabolic system to remove it from the or save you. So dose is most important in case of any medicine. You must remember the dose and course. Dose and course makes the medicine, and dose makes the poison. Even a very good, food, for example, sugar. If you take too much sugar every day, you will be obese and suffer from diabetes and some other diseases. Remember, in case of ecological chemistry, the pollinators. Uh, the flower offers nectar or pollen in a tiny amount they require. This is why they are forced to travel lots of flowers, tirelessly, and they have the powerful sense. But mistake, uh, obviously, may happen in the nature, but that does not directly kill. I think. But if a toxin, certain toxin, an insect takes uh, a certain amount, it may kill, and it may affect the physiology of the insect, may lose the reproductive capacity or other things, or even may paralyze, or like that. Uh, Later, I shall show you some of the interesting example, because grazing animal, uh, they have the choice of taking which grass they will take. But some of the grass contains, for example, tulip. In Second World War, Netherlands was hugely affected by the German Nazi armies, And Netherlands people suffer from food. They started to eat tulip bulb because there were no food. And Netherlands is famous for tulip, number one in the world. And what happened? Tulip bud, tubes, uh, uh, a tulip, how to say, bulb, like the onion or like that, offers them offered them some sort of nutrition to survive. But those tulip bulbs contain some secondary metabolites, flavonoidal compounds, and they affected the female reproductive process. And many of the women, they failed to, conceive. And it was a serious stress in the reproductive system of the women. So not only in case of human, but also in case of grazing animals, flavonoids, isoflavonoids, they are estrogenic compounds. They affect the reproductive system of, like, there are lots of example, like uh, you or like horse or even cattle, and some of the grasses also contains powerful toxin. Even some animal take too much, it can cause lethal for them and can be killed. So the interactions between plants and herbivores are very robust and hugely been studied by the ecological chemist. Any more question?
Sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, Fatima.
Sir, I have a question. Uh, Sir, we know uh, better. I think a very interesting and traditional use or industry was of uh, ecological chemistry was indigo culture, what was traditionally cultivated in our country. Uh, Sir, what we call nil chash, uh, why it's harmful for our environment, sir? It's plant product. Then why it was harmful for our environment? And is there any way to cultivate them without harming environment?
Good question. Yes, Dinobandhu Mitra, he wrote a very nice prose on the Nil Chash, indigo cultivation. During the British rule, uh, our country always, in the history, if you see, suffer from the crisis of food. Food security was a big question all the ages in this delta. And there were, severe famine, and many people died due to famine. So we had not high tech in agriculture as a result, and we had no industry. So people survived here by producing the crops and catching the fish from the rivers. But British people, they always considered how can they harvest from this land that they occupied. So they focused the industrial crop like jute, and they exported from here to Dundee, and also they considered indigo cultivation is very profitable for them to export the dye for their textile industries in UK. Actually, indigo plant is not bad for the environment. It is a leguminous plant, uh, and the dye is also not toxic for the human. Indigo, even we can use this dye available in the market all over the world to, brighten the white fabric cloth. So in our case, it was a big problem when they forced our farmers to cultivate indigo instead of rice and other food crops. This is why uh, 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 it was a very big threat to the food security of this delta, and farmers and other social workers, politicians, and they stood against this, forceful cultivation of the indigo in our land. But we have a scarcity of land. Otherwise, indigo cultivation, even we can suggest it in our country as a cash crop, because the demand of indigo dye worldwide still exists. And but the real problem is, after the liberation of Bangladesh, we lost almost 33% of our cultivated land for the development and other activities. So Bangladesh is in a serious pressure of maintaining the land, cultivable land for future food production. So basically, indigo is not toxic, very good for good means tolerable to our health, and for the environment, it is also not toxic.
Sir, I heard a tale about uh, indigo plant that once we cultivate indigo in our land, after that no crops will grow there well. That means indigo is a very high uh, nutrient consuming plant. But sir, uh, uh, as it's a leguminous crop, then it must add nitrogen to our soil. uh, what will you say some?
What is my opinion? Yes, actually, all that tales are, made against the British, forceful cultivation of the indigo. Indigo plant, yes, extract nutrients too much, because, but it also add, you are right, the nitrogen. But nitrogen is not only the nutrient for the plant crop production. You need 16 or 17 essential nutrient, but in the indigo plant, it can mine all the other nutrients at large quantity. This is why, in the story or tale you are telling, at that time there are no fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, so farmers didn't know, and the land gradually repeated cultivation of indigo became less productive for other crops. It is true.
Yes, sir, thank you, sir.
Welcome. Good question. Shafi and Sumaya, any question?
Sir,
Yes.
I have two questions.
Okay.
Yes, Sumaya, please.
Sir, sir, how do researchers extract pheromone from insects?
Yes, this is a very interesting question, because pheromone, they are produced incredibly low amount. And how does a scientist discover that pheromone? I can tell you one story. You know, to discover human sex hormone, progesterone, a German scientist collected 7,000 liters of urine from the pregnant women. Many scientists tried to discover the sex hormone, especially pregnancy related hormone, but someone for 100 liters, or someone for 200 liters, and it is not easy to collect 7,000 liters of urine from the pregnant women in Germany because population is, not so high, to get very few milligram of progesterone. Similarly, in case of insect, people thought they produce pheromone, but it took very long time to discover the compound. When scientists in last century, 20th century, discovered, different sensitive mass spectrometry, for example, GCMS or NMR technology, very powerful, sensitive technology to, uh, detect the chemical substances, not only detect to determine the chemical structure. It was able to do that. But even though huge number of insects are required, as I told you, 7,000 liters of, uh, you know, liters of pregnant women's urine required to discover the progesterone. Uh, Even 100 years ago, scientists knew that Phytophthora has a mating hormone, like pheromone. So 100 years, scientists did lots of work. Many scientists, they dedicated themselves to discover the Phytophthora mating hormone because they thought that if they discover it, then Phytophthora, the dangerous pathogen of plant, could be controlled. But until uh, you know uh, 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 just a few years ago, a Japanese scientist in Nagoya University, he discovered that mating hormone, terpenoidal compound, and how much culture of the Phytophthora he did. It was really amazing. 1800 1800 liters of Phytophthora culture. 1800 liters of Phytophthora culture he extracted, and finally he got 1.1 milligram of the mating hormone. And then they synthesized that mating hormone and compared the the natural one and synthetic one, and they found that identical. And there was another problem. In most cases, this type of pheromone or hormonal compounds, they are in very complex structure. Complex structure means very powerful, stereo centers. So molecular weight same, but if you want to prepare in the laboratory, it is difficult to get the stereoisomers. In case of insect pheromone, there is a trapping system. They are volatile compound, so you cultivate the insect in the case and large quantity, and they release the pheromone, and all pheromones are absorbed by some absorbent, and over the period of time, and then you wash the absorbent by using organic solvent, and move them into the organic solvent, and finally you use some mechanism so that they do not escape during your concentrating the compound and get the structure by using different spectroscopic methods. Now it's nice question, Sumaya.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Shafi, do you have any question?
Yeah, I have a question because during the pollination time, we also see uh, different abnormalities, especially for the fruits. When the pollination is not occurred perfectly, there is any reason for that?
Yes, due to application of insecticides, indiscriminate application of insecticides, many pollinators are, under the verge of extinction. Number of pollinators decreased, dramatically in our country also. In Europe, you are in Germany, every year they count the number of honeybees. Due to the application of a particular insecticide in Europe, honeybee population was decreased 5%. And this is why uh, you know, uh, uh, they asked several billion of euros penalty from that company or like that. European Union decided to get such a big amount of penalty or fine of that company. But in our country, imagine there is no regulation of the dose course and even illegal banned insecticides we are using. As a result, many of the pollinators, they are under the threat of surviving. Their reproduction also hampered, their behavior also affected. As a result, during fruit pollination, bumblebee and in many countries, bumblebee are cultivated and commercially they are used in their farm for pollination of the fruits and others. But in our country, naturally their population is decreasing. So they possibly visit once, but fruit pollination may requires the visit three or four insects or like this. If one insect may be partially pollinated or like that, this is why fruits sometimes you can see deformed or like that, because some of the fruits they are not single fruit. For example, jackfruit. There are many fruits. They are compound fruit. So that means how to say mixture of several fruits. Several seeds you can find in the same fruit. So in that case, if partially pollinated, then part of the unit may be not pollinated and fruit becomes deformed. Any question? If no question, I shall take 5 minutes break for taking a cup of coffee, and then I shall deliver your another course, probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics. Thank you so much.